Alrighty guys, so I finally got into the game here. So anyway, we're just gonna do most of this stuff on free build. It's just gonna help, it's gonna be the easiest thing to use to explain things. So this is a PC I built a while ago. It's a mainly watercolor, it's a water-cooled PC, but yeah, anyway, we're not gonna be using this today at all. We're just gonna set this guy over here. But anyway, so today this video is, like I said, it's going to mainly be on a power supply. So we'll go over here to, this is going to be most of the inventory of all the parts you can use. Anyway, so first of all, we're going to have to get a case. So the power supply you pick is going to depend on what kind of case you want. So if you want a case like, I don't know, not those, excuse me. If you want a case, why does it keep doing this? So if you want a case that's, you know, has a lot of orange, like a light, like a cool lighting on it. So some of these, as you can see, like this red one here. So things with more lighting, like that one. Or let me find another one with some decent lighting. Those aren't really lighting ones, but oh, like this. See that? It's an RGB. It's an NZXT Elite Hyper Beast. So that's a really nice case, actually. It lights up and all that. But anyway, so we're just gonna start out with a simple. We're just gonna go with this. We're gonna go with that. We'll go with the regular size. So this is an Antec. This is just gonna be a normal sized case. Not a lot of lighting. Obviously, it's got the normal fans. That's about it. Anyway, so for the power supply, we're gonna. So the question I get asked a lot is, what kind of power supply should you put into your PC? Like, what if you have if you don't want all these fancy lightings? And then, so I would suggest picking a smaller power supply. So we're going to go back over here. So ours doesn't have all the fancy lighting and whatever, so we could probably go with more of a lower wattage power supply. So these are higher, this is around what I have, an 850. But yeah, it just depends on you know, what kind of PC you're gonna do. So like we said, this is gonna be a smaller one. So I would go actually about a 400 to 450 on a case like this. These are all, I don't even think they're gonna have something that small on this. Okay, there we go, 450. Okay, so like I said, I go with a 450. Give it a second to load into the game. Right? Did it load in? No? Okay. So yeah, sometimes this game has some of these little issues, so we'll go back down here to our, which one did we say? We said it was an Eve, where's it go? Is it down? Oh no, it might be, I passed it probably. It was a 450. No, still a little bit right here. Here it is. Okay, so we're gonna choose this guy here. Can we please grab this dude? Come on, game. Game. Yep, that's what we want. Never mind. We're just going to go over here, and we're just going to go into install, and we're going to go to our power supply. Like we said, we're gonna go, where did it go again? Sorry about this. This is not one okay, so some of these doesn't fit. That means that it's going to be too big of a power supply. So size-wise, this is going to be, it's going to be too big. So you're going to want to find one that's going to fit in your case, mainly. So where did it go? I thought it was actually towards the top here, more correct. It's right up here. Yeah, it's right here. This is our 450 right here. So it's going to be installed right here. These actually just slide right through the back most of the time. We're going to have screws. You're going to screw them in like this, and that's it for the power supply. So this is going to be your guard right here. So this big thing, if we're going to remove something, if you want to get it in, you can always remove this big guard right here. That's honestly just going to keep dust. So this one has a fan in the back. Now, here, how do we remove? I want to remove this guard really quick, if it's at all. I don't know if it's possible in this case, but with certain power supplies, you're going to have a fan from under it, and that's going to be the fan that takes up air into it. Now, for my PC personally, I have it where my fan is on the top because it blows air out, so it takes air from the bottom and it blows it up into my PC to cool like my graphics card and whatever. But then it also cools itself because it yanks the dirt from the bottom of the PC and it goes up through the power supply to cool the power supply, and then it bumps out there that's a little warm but still not too hot, and it goes into my PC and it'll help cool my graphics card too. So this is going to help out like how I have it set up, because then I use less power to cool my GPU, so my fans aren't spinning as hard, so I'm using less power. Anyway, so now what we would do is normally we would install the next thing, but this is obviously just going to be the shorter version. This is going to be what a power supply is. So yeah, so that's basically it for the power supply. They're going to have little cables on the ends here. I'm going to show you a picture really quick of what these look like. So you'll see all the different individual pieces on the power supply, and that is mainly just going to be the different plugins. So let's go ahead really quickly. I know like some of this stuff, this is going to be a good video to come back to towards the end, but I had to start out with this because this is more of your basic. Like this is, you're going to have this before anything else. But anyway, so we're going to go to our motherboards, okay? So now, this is incompatible because it's too big, but we'll just go with this one right here, okay? So these are standoffs. So these are usually put into a PC. These are honestly just a little things that help hold the motherboard in, but it also helps it so it doesn't bang against the side of they're called standoffs. They're pretty nice. So this is going to fit in, and then you're going to have a ton of screws for these motherboards just to hold them in and whatever. But yeah, we'll screw this in here. 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 So this is a decently high-end motherboard. It's a $350 motherboard, so it's decently high-end. And yeah, so now that our motherboard's in, we can attach the cables. So see, you're going to have your big 8-pin right here, or is this a 16-pin? This is your 16-pin, I think, actually. And then you're going to have, this is more of your 8-pin. This is going to power your processor and all that stuff. So that's what these pins are going to do. These things will also plug into your motherboard. They're your fans. So your fans are going to run off of your power supply, but you don't have to plug them in separately most of the time. It's going to come up through your motherboard, and it's going to go to your motherboard, and then you plug your fans into your motherboard, and that's where it's going to get all your things. So yeah, we'll plug these in. We'll finish plugging them in, then I'll show you what it's supposed to look like. So if you have your power supply plugged in correctly, your PC will power up like this. Oh, is it not plugged in? This is weird. Oh, it's probably not going to power on because, yeah, it's probably not going to actually, because usually you have to install more parts in this, especially in this game, you're going to have to. But really quickly, I'm going to grab a different power supply because this can sometimes tell us that we picked too low of a power supply. So see, if you're going to have that issue, it's not powering on for some reason. So I'm just going to check really quickly to make sure that it's not. So we're going to unscrew this really quick. We're going to grab a different power supply. So this was a 450. Where is install? Okay, so we're gonna go for a little bit of a bigger power supply. So let's go for, say, a 650. Okay, we're just gonna install this dude into here. Obviously, it's gonna be a little bit of a stronger power supply, but yeah. And then we'll attach our connectors here and then here like that. And then now we can see if we can get any. Where's our big fatty boy right here? Here he is. Right now, we'll see if we power on. So see, I just think it has to do with usually you're gonna have to build it thoroughly. I think you're gonna want to have your processor and all that before you power it on. But yeah, that's it. So that's mainly just the basics of a power supply. So now we're gonna go with a let's say if we want to go with a nicer looking case. So where's that one down here that we had? It was an NZXT that I saw. So this one, this Hyper Elite Beast. So here we're going to swap this. We're gonna throw this old junk here over here. So as you can see, we're going to have a ton of RGB. Well, actually, I don't know about this one, but yeah, you're going to have a lot of different things. So let's just say we wanted to customize this case a little more to have RGB fans. I wonder if I can actually do that. Can I move these? Yes, I can. So sometimes your default fans aren't going to be that good. You're going to want a better fan. A higher powered fan, or sometimes you're even going to get a radiator, which is something you can plug into your motherboard. It usually goes like right here on this little dust filter right here. It'll plug into your motherboard. It goes on the top. So anyway, say if we want to install, where's some fans? You know, just that was CPU cooling. So you can go custom water cooling. Those are okay too, but I'm not going to go with that today. We're just going to go with normal fans. I'm trying to remember, is it just case parts? Yeah, okay, case fans. Here we go. So say if we want to go, where would be a RGB fan here? So these are, I think, RGB, correct? Are they? Yeah, so these right here, these Corsairs are RGB. And RGB is honestly, it's basically just LEDs in your fans that change different colors. It's kind of cool. So we're going to stick with, where are those Corsairs that I saw that were RGB? Right here, these. We're going to go with 140, it's just going to be a little bit of a stronger fan here for you. Now, normally, I feel like if you're going to buy a case from NZXT, I would think they were going to have RGB fans, but I don't know. I haven't tested this case out a ton. So, wasn't the other fan back here, right? Yeah, it's all the fan, buddy. Oh, it was right here. Yeah. So see, this one says it's not going to fit, or it's going to fit, but it's going to want me to take this front panel off. So we'll go ahead and remove this front panel really quick, and then we can. This is going to be your dust filter. So normally, if you have a different thing on the front, that dust thing is going to come in handy. So let's switch it out. Let's say if we do have some. Where's an RGB fan? So an RGB fan here. Like this. Okay, so I mean you're gonna have your RGB fan here and all that. Here, let's put our front panel back on. Is it right here? It's our front panel. Oh wait, first of all, actually we're gonna install our dust filter, and then you're gonna install your front panel. They just clip on most of the time, and then so now we can put a power supply in. We're going to want to put a more powerful power supply in, and the reason that is because we're having our RGB fans. You're going to have lighting everywhere, all that stuff. So I'm going to go with, I would say 850 is going to do it, but I'm going to go with an 1000 just to be careful. So see right here, look at this. It's going to want us to take this off. See, so we're going to have to come in here like this. So this is the PSU mount, or power supply. PSU stands for power supply unit, obviously, but still. So now we're gonna go with our, where's that 1000 watt? These are 550 right here. So that's a 1200. That's a ginormous. Where's it 1000? Right here. We'll go with this Corsair 1000 watt. And then now usually you're gonna put this PSU mount back on just to make sure your power supply stays secure in there, all that stuff. But we're just gonna go ahead and we're going to I'm going to go ahead and do this just to give a better demonstration. I'm going to go ahead and build a whole PC up really quick. I'm going to use this build, these fans and everything, but I'm going to go ahead and put a processor, a motherboard, maybe probably a small graphics card, nothing ginormous. And we're just going to look to see, you know, if the power supply, like the difference, you know. So I'll build up both of these PCs really quick, and then we will be back. So hang tight. Alrighty guys, so I'm back finally. I got my build. So these are going to be your two builds, alrighty. So this is going to be your more expensive build. So this is coming with the Hyper Elite Beast case, which is this thing. It's $100 bucks. The Asus Prime X299 Deluxe case. So the motherboard back here, an Intel i9, which is expensive. It's going to be probably around $1,000 for that. The Arctic freezer right here. So this is going to be like your CPU cooler. The Corsair HX1000, which is going to be my fan up here. No. Yeah, it's going to be one of my fans. And then we're going to have our RAM. So we have how many sticks? 4 sticks of 8GB Corsair Vengeance RAM. So it's all this. And then we're gonna have our so this is we have 2 GeForce GTX 1080 cards with the little thing, so they're Crossfire cards. And then we're gonna have our these are our couple Corsair fans that I've put in. This is they're pretty inexpensive fans, obviously. And then the one thing that I skipped this, our 8 data 1 terabyte. So this is going to be our SSD. Now this isn't a normal SSD that just sits on here. It's one of the ones that plugs into the motherboard. But yeah, so this is going to be what your cheaper thing looks at. This is obviously running on a power supply, an HX1000, so the 1000. Now this is going to be your cheaper one. For some reason, I can't get it to power on, but all the parts are here. So this is going to be more of a cheaper. So this is going to start out, so with the motherboard, actually we'll start with the case. It's a Antec P8. It's a cheap, just case that's going to work. It'll look nice. a gigabit. This is an X570 Aorus Elite Wi-Fi, so this means that this is going to have a Wi-Fi tray for it. Now, it's a little more expensive. It's not super high-end, but it will get the job done. An AMD Ryzen 3 quad-core. That's one of the more inexpensive processors. It's good for light gaming. You could probably do some harder gaming on it too. This is my cooler. It's just a $70 cooler for the CPU. And then our Antec high-end gamer 650 watts. So that's our power supply. That should be enough. We're not running super high-end parts. And then our ADATA, 8 gigabytes of RAM. So we have two of these. That's only 200 bucks for each stick of RAM. It's not super expensive. It's pretty inexpensive here. I went with the RX 470 graphics because it's a very inexpensive card compared to some of them. Like the other ones were almost $1,000 a card. These are around 300. This will get some decently heavy gaming done. You're gonna be able to run some games. And then your Seagate. So this is just a normal 1 terabyte HDD drive right here, and then we're gonna have our SSD. And then yeah, a couple fans, $7 fans. So yeah, so that's just a basic layout, but that's gonna show you. I mean, see, obviously with this, it's gonna have more lighting and all that, so you're gonna need a bigger power supply. That's where that 1,000 watts come in. With this one, it's not a lot of lighting. There's just a couple fans here and there. 650 should get it done. But yeah, so that's just basically it. So my next video, I'm going to be doing on our processor. So the difference between having a high-end and a low-end processor. So I'm going to take all these apart probably, and I'm going to rebuild them again using the processor. Yeah, so now that we have our power supplies in there and everything, next video we're starting putting the processor in, and yeah, so and then maybe we can even diagnose what's wrong with this one. I have no actual clue. But yeah, so that's going to be it for this video. Just be sure to stay tuned. If you like these videos, please be sure to just sub for more videos like this. Just make sure you stay up to date with this series. This is going to be a pretty good series, I hope. Actually, I'm already enjoying this a lot. But yeah, so we'll be back. I hope to have the next video out pretty quickly. And yeah, so processors, remember that. So 3 questions to think about before the next video. What does a processor do? Number 1. Number 2 is what's the difference between like a high-end and a low-end processor? You can Google some of these questions. And 3, you're gonna want to figure out like what kind of cooling do you want for your processor. If it's a high-end, you want a higher-end cooling, or if it's a lower-end, you want a lower-end cooling. Anyway, so that's gonna